Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, Colorado Buffaloes. I want to talk about them very quickly because it feels like to me this is one of the more polarizing subjects that is currently going on in sports today. And I want to preface every comment that I say here. I'm a fan of Deion Sanders.
Hater.
Deion is number one. Deion represents. Although he doesn't say it, he represents this Florida State.
No, he don't. He said he don't.
I'm a graduate of Florida State, and so I got to support fellow Seminoles. With that being said, there's a narrative out there, and I want to address something that, because you see this, I've seen this actually on multiple occasions. I saw it on First Take, and now I saw it again as a part of Shannon Sharpe's and Chad Ochocinco's show. I don't know. I didn't even realize they had a show. And so I want to play this clip quickly, bro, and react to it because, to me, the statement that they're making here, it's like, what are you talking about? This isn't anything new. So let me just play what they had to say in regards to Deion Sanders and Colorado's issues.
Ocho. And I'm probably going to catch some flack from there.
Don't do it. Think about it first before you say it.
I am.
Think about it first.
That's discipline. Penalties are discipline.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I know what coach says publicly, and I know what he says privately because I've had this conversation with him. We went to the hall together in 2011.
Yes, sir.
Me and that man talked up until probably he got to Colorado. We would talk sometimes 2-3 times a week. Mm-hmm. So I know what he's trying to get done. But right now, Colorado is a very undisciplined football team. And it's hard to overcome those type of mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's hard. You've got to get out of your own way. And right now, they're not getting out of their own way.
Right.
And that's frustrating. Mm-hmm. 29 points?
Right.
Forget the defense. I don't care about the defense. Because guess what? When they score 7, guess what? They kick the ball off to you. You can go back down the field and score also. Mm-hmm. But they've got to do a better job. They've got to fix that. And coach Prime get up after every press conference and he say penalties. Mm-hmm. Now, something is getting lost in translation. Either the message that you're getting is not being received, mm-hmm. or how you're delivering the message isn't being received. But there's a disconnect somewhere because you can't keep having double-digit penalties mm-hmm. and expect to win these games.
Right. I don't think there's a disconnect. I think the moments like this are new for these kids. The situations that they're in, the lights, the program, the newfound stardom or whatever it may be.
So I'm gonna pause it there, Jay, because I thought that was a mouthful by both of those guys. So number one, and I got to take my time on this because I got to think about what I want to say because like Shannon Sharpe, this is probably not going to be a popular take, but it is what it is.
It's because you hate Deion.
So Colorado has always been one of the more heavily penalized teams, Jay. That's nothing new. Why is it that you weren't saying anything about this prior? So when they were winning, we didn't hear anything about penalties or any of this other stuff. All we heard was about the glitz and the glam and all that other stuff, right? So just so you're aware, Jay, before they actually played in their last game against Stanford, bro, they already had 52 penalties for 433 yards in their previous games, right? So they were already heavily penalized in all of the games, even the ones that they lost. We didn't hear anything about penalties at that moment. All we heard is praise for Deion Sanders, specifically coming from Shannon Sharpe. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about discipline issues and something's getting lost in translation. And both of those explanations, whether it's discipline or something getting lost in translations, it all falls on the head coach, bruh. That's the head coach issue, right? That's a coaching issue if your team isn't disciplined. It's a coaching issue if your team is not understanding the message that is being delivered. It's all coaching. You're saying that it's a coaching issue without saying it's a coaching issue. And I think Ochocinco was trying to offset that and saying that, it's all new for these kids being in the lights, being in the glamour and all this other stuff. Bruh, when I think about this, and it reminds me of a few years ago, Florida State. Now, everybody knows I'm a Florida State fan. I'm a Florida State graduate. Go Noles. But we had a coach by the name of Willie Taggart. And we saw a lot of the same discipline issues with the team. It was too much hot dogging going on. It was too much trying to get the shine and have the attention on you as individuals instead of coming together as a team. And culturally, and I'm African American, I'm talking about this, I don't care what anybody says. Culturally, that's okay. Like, we do those things, right? We stunt, we floss. You see Shannon Sanders out there doing this, Jay, like he got on a watch or showing a watch to people. We like the floss. Yeah. That's a part of the culture. And I don't have an issue with that. However, certain parts of the culture don't actually work very well in team-oriented environments. And I feel like that's what's currently going on in Colorado. I think you have a similar issue to what we had at Florida State, where these guys are too concerned about the glitz, the glamour, the shine, doing all this stuff that is not, to me, conducive to a team. And that is why you're having some of those challenges. So the challenge is culturally. You have to change that culture to be less about me, and more about team. And I just think the approach that Deion has taken so far, I know it gets a lot of notoriety. I know it gets a lot of attention, but it doesn't actually translate into, the best team, right? So you got to point those things out. Now, the other issue that they have is the team is not as talented as what people think they are. They're simply not. So the discipline, that's not a talent thing. That is a culture thing, in my opinion. But the team is not as good. They're going to lose some games. We already knew that. I had them going, maybe 5-7. I won't be surprised if they're 4-8. They're going to lose games. But relative to the discipline issues and things getting lost in translation, that is related to coaching and culture. And the coach sets the tone of the culture. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm seeing a similar culture to what we saw at Florida State during those 2 years. And it's a culture of failure. You cannot be me. There's nothing wrong with flossing a little bit. There's nothing wrong with showing your style. But to me, based off what I'm seeing from the team and the way that they behave, I just feel like they're doing a little bit too much hot dogging, a little bit too much about me, and not enough about team. And Deion has to change that environment, because right now it's an issue as far as I'm concerned. And that's not going to be a popular opinion. People are going to come in the comment section and try to cook me for that. But I saw the same thing at Florida State, bro, and it's an issue. Jay, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely discipline comes down to coaching. You're always going to have some knuckleheads that's going to do some stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. Whether you coach them hard, coach them tough, soft, what does it matter? Some kids are just going to be brain dead out there at times and make bonehead plays over and over again. Then you got to replace them. Deion's not in a position where he can just replace anyone at any time. Like you said, they're not a good team. They were 1-11 last year. He has over 80 new players this year. He's still trying to find out who he can depend on and who he can't. Now, as far as this game here against Stanford, Ocho and Shannon talked about how Travis was used maybe a little bit too much. I can agree with that. I mean,
he's not a two-way player.
That lets you know he's their best player. He's their only player on offense and defense, it seems. And that's not good. Winning teams can't – a true winning team can't have just be dependent upon one player, especially in football. Football is the ultimate team sport. Now, with a player like Travis, I get it. They were running him a lot. They had him playing both ways. But that number 13 on Stanford was cooking him before he was super tired. he was cooking the whole third quarter. So don't try to tell me it just happened in the last minute of the game. He got cooked the whole third quarter, because that's when they made their comeback.
But he always get cooked. But Travis always gets cooked, dog. Like, this is not new news.
not to yes, he gets cooked at times, but not to this degree. This 13 had his number the whole time, and it looked like Travis just looked like, I just come and tackle him. He'll catch it. I just try to come tackle him. So in that game there, when you have one player that's just destroying your whole team, and he's destroying your best player, you got to make adjustments for that. So that's definitely on coach, because you can't. I don't care how much faith you got in your best player. If he's not doing it, getting the job done, he might just have an off day. It happens. So you need to help him out instead of just let him be on that island and just keep getting cooked. He ain't Revis. That dude was destroying him, and he started destroying. They put another corner on him. He destroyed that corner. So you should have bracketed the coverage on that kid there. Now about penalties, I was looking through all their games and everything. I did notice Stanford, they had 17 penalties. Oregon, they had 12. CSU, they had 10. USC, they had 7. So those are some, especially USC, Oregon, CSU. Those are higher profile games, especially being CSU being their rival. Still no excuse to have double-digit penalties, especially the way they're having them. Being a Miami fan, I know about penalties. Just like you had that deal, the issue when you had Willie Tiger for your coach at FSU, I know about it as well. Being a Hurricane fan, we've been dealing with that for a while as well. So you have to, as a coach, I think he's going to have to make some more changes. No matter, even if you're less competitive, you got to send a message. You got to get control of the team and send a message like, look, this is unacceptable. We've been going through this every week now. He's talked about, he's like, look, we played poor here. We played poor there. Trying to figure out what's going on. So I get it's his first year. And I think he's going to make the changes in the future. Just right now, I think this team is what it is. I think they can still, they can get the 6 wins. It ain't going to be easy. Because Arizona did, after what Arizona did to Washington State last weekend, ain't going to be easy. And they lost this one here to Stanford. So they got some tough sledding to go to try to get to be bowl eligible. But I think Deion can turn the ship around. I think it's going to be a combination of him and his coaches changing their coaching style and getting their players in, getting more players in. I know they got 80 right now. They didn't hit. You don't always, get it right when you bring those players in, because some of those players were believing the hype. They believed that they were better than what they really are. It's one thing to believe in the scheme, but you also got to believe like, man, my boy there, we're going to have to really do extra. I got to do extra on my side. You got to do extra on your side, because over there, he's lacking over there. You know what I'm saying? You know who he's lacking on your team. You know where you're not good at. They know they don't have an offensive line that can protect worth a dang. So, I mean, Shador getting hit every play. So there's a lot more things going on now. I'm surprised they don't have more offensive holding penalty than anything else. These are just dumb player personal fouls, penalties, late hits, face masks, just stupid stuff. And then, like Shannon said, how do you have 12 people on the field multiple times? I think he said 4 times they got called for that. So that's letting you know the kids aren't all dialed in. There's no way you should have 12 players on the field that many times in a game. Especially they were up 29-0 at halftime, and all of a sudden they start making a run on y'all, and y'all can't do it. Y'all don't know what to do anymore. Y'all forgot how to play football. I mean, I know Deion doesn't show too much emotion at times on the sideline. He does the Bill Belichick, the Nick Saban type thing like that. I don't know. As a player and just being on the sideline with some other coaches, I'm more animated. I gotta get in these kids' face. I don't care if it's, I know it's a different time now. It's not like when we were growing up where the coach would just grab you by the face mask, get your attention, make sure you're looking eye to eye. You gotta do it a different way, but something has to give, man, because 17 penalties against Stanford, 12 against Oregon, 10 against CSU, and being number 129 out of, I think, 132 D1 schools. That's pretty bad. You can't win like that when you're not a good football team.
Yeah, all I got to say to wrap this video up is this. If you want to be on a football team where the coach isn't all in the front dancing, trying to be all limp in the camera and
man,
the video.
stop that stuff, man.
Come to FSU. Come to FSU. No, I'm joking, guys. I'm joking, but it's definitely a discipline issue going on there, man. I think culturally, I'm not knocking what they had to say. I mean, it's true, but at the same time, this thing existed beforehand, and the results should not dictate how you feel about what the team is actually doing. And the discipline issue has been there for a while. I don't like for teams that have props on the sideline, turnover backpacks and turnover chains and And I think they got a what do they have there? Don't they have like a they have a throne, don't they? Yeah, they got a freaking throne on the side of come on. Anyway.
It's very dusty.
Yeah, exactly. You guys tell us what you think in the comment section. I know you guys gonna cook me in the comment section. I'm gonna hear that I'm a Deion Sanders hater. I'm gonna hear that I'm nothing in life, and that's the reason why I'm hating on Deion Sanders. I'm gonna hear it all, but it's not hate, man. It's just an observation, and it is what it is. I've seen this in the past, and it doesn't go well. This is something that Deion is going to have to change, and I think he will. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are